Hey guys, this is Lee Bradshaw, and today we're going to be talking about mutual funds, and I'm specifically going to be talking about Fidelity mutual funds because that's where I put my money into, and I trust the app. It's got millions of good ratings. People have been using it for a long time, so that's where I'm putting my money, and that's where I'll be reviewing the mutual funds that I've invested into. So the first question that I want to go over is what is a mutual fund, and the best way to explain a mutual fund is it's a bunch of stocks that are put together. So like Tesla, Amazon, a bunch of stocks. It could be whatever, but it's a group of stocks that you can buy. And the main reason people buy mutual funds is to diversify. So there's less risk of losing a bunch of money when you're investing into a pool of stocks because if one company goes down, there's a bunch of them that could still do well. There are different types of accounts that you can open up through Fidelity and a bunch of different apps as well. But there's a Roth IRA, an IRA, or just a traditional brokerage account. But I opened up a Roth IRA. It's a retirement account, but there's a lot less penalties. So you can still take your money out if you need to, but you don't have to pay taxes on it when you take it out. However, because it's so good, you can only invest up to $6,500 on it per year in a Roth IRA. So it's nice to have other accounts open if you plan on investing a lot of money. So there are several things to look for when investing into a mutual fund. The first thing to look for is to look at the expense ratio. Because there's an investment, there's a fund manager. They're the ones that are taking care of the mutual fund. They have a fee, so it's usually between 0% to 1%, and you want it to be as close to zero as possible. So there's the expense ratio and the life of the fund. So the life of the fund is how long that mutual fund has been around for, and you want it to be at least 10 years just to be safe. So I've picked 7 different mutual funds that I think are really good, and I don't have a whole lot of experience, but I did some research, and these are the ones that I plan on investing into, and I've already put some money into them. So this is just what I think. This is not investment advice, but this might give you an idea of what to look for when you're investing into mutual funds. The first 2 mutual funds I'm going to be talking about are actually index funds, and index funds are mutual funds. They just follow a certain index like the S&P 500. So the first fund I'm going to be talking about is FXAIX, and that's the Fidelity S&P 500 fund. So I'm going to be opening up on the screen right now, typing it in. So this just follows the S&P 500, and I've invested into my individual and Roth IRA, and they've both grown. It's grown about 10% since 1988, so it's been around for a while. The expense ratio is 0.2%. You can also get dividends on it, and then those are the top 10 holdings. Overall, I think this is the best fund because it follows the S&P 500, the top 500 companies in the U.S. It's very safe. It's got a very low expense ratio, and it's been around for a long time. So it's the cheapest one, and it's the one that's the safest, follows the index, and you're probably going to get the most amount of growth using this one, buying into this one. The next fund that I'll be talking about is FSKAX, which is the Fidelity Total Market Index Fund. And this fund is all the companies in the U.S. So it's investing into all the companies. So this is even safer. It might not have the biggest growth, but it's a great way to get into the market and have some safety. I'm gonna pull it up right now. We're gonna type it in. Loading. So it has some growth. I have not invested into it, but it's grown 8% since 1997, but it's grown a lot this year. Expense ratio is only 0.02%. Those are the top 10 holdings. And the next mutual fund is FSELX, and this fund is the Fidelity Semiconductor Portfolio. It invests into the top semiconductor stocks. And this has had a lot of growth, and I've invested about $1,000 into it, and it's grown almost 16%. Let me pull that one up. I think I've got it in my list already. There it is. So yeah, it's $23.83 a share. It's beat the S&P 500. It's good to check how well it does compared to the S&P 500. Yeah, I've invested a lot of money into it. It's grown $166, 16%. The life of the fund is since 1985, so it's been around for a while. The expense ratio is 0.69%, So it's higher up, and those are the top 10 holdings. So a lot of the semiconductor stocks. The next mutual fund is called FSPTX. It's very similar to FSELX, as in it's another tech mutual fund. So it's the Select Technology Portfolio. So it invests into a lot of the tech stocks. So let's check that one out. Just to reiterate, it's good to diversify. So for this one, because it has a lot of the same stocks as FSELX, the semiconductor one, it's grown a lot in the past 10 years. So it's just good to make sure you don't want to invest into the most growth ones just because they could have down years as well. Let's check this one as well. So I'm gonna open it up. It's $25.85 a share. It has beat the S&P 500. It's grown over 41% this year, 13% in its lifetime. It's been around since 1981. It's 0.71% per share. So the next mutual fund that I'm gonna be talking about is FDLSX, which is the Select Leisure Portfolio, and this one invests into the restaurant and hotel industry, which have done pretty well over the years. So in here, I'm gonna open it up. Taking me a second to type it in. So 16.86 a share. It's about where the S&P 500 index is at. It's grown a lot this year, and it's been around since 1984, and it's grown over 13.53%. You do get dividends on that, and those are the top 10 companies or top 10 holdings. All right, so the next one we're going to be talking about is FSHOX, which is the Select Construction and Housing Portfolio. And this one invests into companies like Home Depot, Lowe's, and Builders First Source. So there are housing and construction companies which do go up and down. On the graph, it doesn't quite beat the S&P 500, but it's very close. So it's up to you to decide. It's an option to choose from. The expense ratio is higher up, so it really depends. But it's a good one to take a look at. Let's open it up and check it out. I'm gonna have to type it in. All right, so it is a little bit more expensive to buy, but it pretty much follows the S&P 500. It does have its up and downs. It's been around since 1986 and has grown 12.03% over those years. The expense ratio is 0.77%, and those are the companies that it's invested into. And last but not least, the last one I want to talk about is FBMPX, which is the Select Communication Services Portfolio. We're going to open it up and check it out again. So this one's 75 a share, and it's really beat the S&P 500. It's been around since 1986, and it's grown 84%. And those are the companies like Netflix, Disney, T-Mobile. So it's a little diversified. So those are some of the ones that I plan on investing into. Again, I'm not sure how well they're going to perform in the next 10, 20, 30 years, but they look safe based on how well they've done in the past. A lot of investors say don't look at the past, how well it's done in the past, because we can't predict what it's going to look like. But I think it's good to take a look at, if it's done well for the past 40 years or 30 years, because a lot of those Fidelity funds have been around since the 80s, then we can predict. I'd say it's okay to invest in it. But again, just do your own research, and I'd watch other videos too and see what you come up with. But again, these are much safer than just investing into a single stock, which can go up and down really fast. So again, I hope that was helpful, and I hope you got something out of it. And let me know what type of videos you want me to make next. I'm trying to make videos that are useful, and I want to start going into the finance and investing. I want to start making more videos like that. So if you find it helpful, let me know. If you want me to make other videos, let me know and put them down in the comments. But yeah, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.